Miles away, the black Dodge Charger ripped down the highway like a bullet set free. Behind the wheel was a man built like a fortress, broad shoulders, sharp jaw, eyes that burned with a fire only injustice could light. His name was Marcus Cole, and to the world, he wasn't just anybody. He was Special Agent Marcus Cole, the youngest black man to lead a federal task force on organized crime. And right now, every muscle in his body was coiled with rage. His mother's voice still echoed in his head, steady, controlled, but heavy with pain. He gripped the wheel tighter. The sheriff, Harper. Marcus remembered that name, a man who thought his badge made him God, a man his mother once warned him about. The Charger roared past the county line. Marcus didn't care about jurisdiction. He didn't care about rules. Not tonight. He flicked a switch on the dash. Red and blue lights lit up the dark highway, slicing through the night like justice on wheels. Back at the diner, the old woman sat quietly, staring at the door. Her fingers tapped the table, not in fear, but in rhythm. She knew her son was coming, and when Marcus came, things changed. The diner door flew open with a sharp clang, the little bell above it trembling as if sensing the storm that had just walked in. Marcus Cole filled the doorway like a shadow swallowing the light. Black suit, federal badge gleaming at his belt, eyes scanning the room with the precision of a predator. Conversations died mid-sentence. Forks froze halfway to mouths. The old woman, his mother, looked up, her face softening for the first time that day. Marcus crossed the room in 3 long strides, towering over her like a wall of steel. He bent slightly, his voice low and calm, but humming with electricity. "You okay, Ma?" She nodded once, sliding her hand over his. "I'm fine, baby." Marcus straightened, his gaze sweeping the room. "Where is he?" No one spoke. The air was thick enough to choke on. Then the door opened again. Boots, spurs. Sheriff Harper walked back in, a grin plastered on his face, until his eyes locked on Marcus. Harper's smirk faltered, just for a second, just long enough for Marcus to take one slow step forward. "This him?" Marcus asked, voice like a loaded gun. His mother's silence was all the answer he needed. The sheriff's badge hit the table with a hollow clink. For a long moment, Harper just stood there, chest rising and falling like a man drowning on dry land. His hand lingered near his gun, but one hard look from Marcus froze him cold. "Good," Marcus said softly, sliding the badge toward himself. "Now, sit." Harper hesitated, then his knees buckled, and he sank into the booth across from Marcus's mother. She didn't look at him, not once. Her gaze stayed on the window, calm as a quiet storm. Marcus leaned in, resting both hands on the table. "You thought you could humiliate her and walk away clean, but here's what I think. You've done this before." A flicker of fear flashed in Harper's eyes. His jaw worked, but no words came out. Marcus tilted his head. "How many, Sheriff? How many people did you hurt before today?" The room was dead silent except for the sheriff's ragged breathing. Then Marcus dropped the hammer. "Because my team's pulling your records right now, and if I find one pattern, one complaint, one body buried in your past." He paused, voice slicing like steel. "You'll pray for prison." Harper's mask cracked. Sweat slid down his temple. For the first time, the sheriff wasn't the hunter. He was prey. The diner smelled of bacon grease and burnt toast, the kind of place where time seemed to crawl. In the far corner, a black woman sat alone, her posture calm, her hands gently cradling a warm cup of coffee. She wasn't speaking to anyone, wasn't making a scene, just breathing in the silence like it was her only friend. Then the bell above the door jingled. Sheriff Dale Harper walked in, boots heavy against the tiled floor. His mirrored sunglasses hid his eyes, but the smirk said enough. He scanned the room like a hunter searching for prey. And then he saw her. "Well, well," he said, his voice cutting through the quiet. "Look what we got here." The woman didn't respond. Her silence was a shield, but to Harper, it felt like an insult. He swaggered over, grabbed her coffee cup, and without warning, tilted it. Scalding liquid cascaded across the table, splashing her hands. The room gasped, but no one moved. Harper leaned close and whispered, "Next time, know your place." He walked away laughing, never glancing back. What he didn't know was this: that quiet woman had a son, and the man her son had become was someone Harper should fear. Sheriff Harper's boots scraped against the tile as he stepped inside, his grin snapping back into place like armor. He tilted his hat, trying to play it cool. "Well now," Harper drawled, eyes darting to Marcus's badge, "what brings the big city law down to our little diner?" Marcus didn't answer. He closed the distance between them, each step deliberate, heavy, like the ticking of a countdown clock. When they were chest to chest, Marcus spoke, low, steady, each word a blade. "You poured coffee on my mother." The smirk twitched, but Harper held his ground. "Your mama? Didn't know she was yours. Thought she was just some..." Crash! Marcus's fist slammed against the table beside them, silverware clattering to the floor. The whole diner jumped. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "Say it!" Marcus hissed, his eyes boring into Harper's soul. The sheriff chuckled, but there was no humor in it. His hand twitched near his holster. Marcus saw it, and in a flash, his own badge gleamed inches from Harper's face. "You think that badge makes you untouchable?" Marcus said, voice cold as steel. "Mine makes me God to you." And for the first time, Sheriff Harper swallowed hard. Harper's eyes darted from Marcus to the door, like a man searching for an escape that didn't exist. His hands trembled against the table. For years, this diner had been his stage, his badge, his script. But now, the lights were on him, and there was no way to hide. You don't understand," Harper stammered, his voice breaking for the first time. "Things ain't like you think. This town expects certain things." Marcus's jaw tightened. "The only thing this town expects now is the truth." Harper swallowed hard. Then it spilled out, slow at first, then like floodwater. Stories of stops that turned violent. Names of people silenced with threats, beatings swept under the rug, and worse, things Harper prayed would never see daylight. Every word streamed live. Every secret he tried to bury was clawing its way to the surface. "You think this saves you?" Marcus asked coldly. "You're done, Harper. You're not a sheriff anymore. You're evidence." Harper slumped in the booth, his face grey, his career bleeding out with every syllable. Across the table, Marcus's mother finally looked at him, just once. And for the first time, Harper saw something in her eyes that shook him more than the badge ever could. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Power was in the way he stood, in the way Harper's confidence drained like water through cracked hands. Marcus slipped his phone from his pocket and tapped the screen. "You're live," he said coldly. "Every word, every move, streaming to my team in DC." Harper's face paled. You can't..." "I can," Marcus cut in. "Federal authority trumps your backwoods badge. So go ahead, Sheriff, tell the world why you poured scalding coffee on an unarmed black woman for sitting where she didn't belong." Whispers rippled through the diner. The waitress, the cook, the old man at the counter, they were all watching now, and they weren't on Harper's side. Marcus leaned forward, voice like a blade. "Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna hand me your weapon and your badge, now, or I call in federal marshals and drag you out in cuffs." For a moment, Harper stood frozen, chest heaving, eyes darting like a trapped animal. Then, slowly, his hand moved to his belt. The clink of metal on wood sounded louder than gunfire. Marcus didn't smile. He just stared, unblinking. The balance of power had shifted, and Harper knew it. The woman didn't flinch. Coffee dripped from the edge of the table, pooling on the worn tile floor. Conversations resumed in hushed tones, but no one dared look her in the eye. She reached for a napkin, slowly blotting the scalding liquid from her dark skin. Then, with steady hands, she opened her purse and pulled out an old flip phone, its plastic edges worn smooth with time. She stared at it for a moment, as if deciding whether today was the day. Then click. It snapped open, a number she never forgot. A single press. The line rang once, twice. "Ma?" The voice on the other end was deep, firm, commanding. Her throat tightened, but her voice came calm, like a whisper before lightning strikes. "Baby, it happened again." Silence, thick as smoke. Then the voice hardened. "Who?" "The sheriff." A sharp inhale, then steel in his tone. "Where are you?" "The diner." "Don't move." The line went dead. She set the phone down carefully, her face unreadable. Outside, somewhere far down the highway, an engine roared to life, fast, relentless, like a storm rolling in to wash everything clean. The sheriff sat slumped like a broken statue, sweat pooling at his collar. His confession echoed in the room, heavy and undeniable. There was no swagger left, no smirk, just the sound of defeat. Marcus pressed a button on his phone. "It's done," he said. Seconds later, sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder, closer. Harper's eyes widened as the flashing red and blue lights cut through the diner windows. Federal agents stormed in, their boots striking the tile like war drums. "Sheriff Dale Harper," one agent barked, "you're under arrest for civil rights violations, obstruction of justice, and aggravated assault." Harper didn't fight. He couldn't. They cuffed him right there in front of the people he once terrorized. His hat fell to the floor and rolled under the counter, a badge without power, a man without a crown. As they led him out, Marcus turned to his mother. She was calm, her hands folded neatly on the table, eyes glistening, not with tears but with pride. "Ma," Marcus said softly, "you good?" She smiled for the first time that day. "Baby," she whispered, "I've been good. You just reminded him who we are." Justice wasn't loud that day. Justice was quiet, like her. But it was absolute.